My Grandpa Tom and I are headed from Bangkok to Chiang Mai tonight, but the journey turns out to be anything but simple. With plans to take the train, unexpected challenges arise. Join us two northern Minnesotans as we navigate an unforgettable cross-country adventure in Thailand. We began the morning with plans to take the 7 a.m. train to Bangkok, a passenger line established in the 90s. According to our Airbnb host, it never fills up. Reality, however, was quite different. After breakfast, we asked the hotel clerk for help navigating the maze of Thai websites offering train tickets. To our surprise, he said the next available train was in 3 days. However, he mentioned we could potentially take a Greyhound-style bus. Looking at my grandpa, I asked, "What should we do?" Without missing a beat, he replied, "Let's take the bus." And so our cross-country journey began. We headed to a Bangkok bazaar to purchase tickets. Using Google Translate, I asked the lady at the counter for the nicest bus available. For $15, she assured us we were set for a luxurious ride. Home for the next 14 hours was a double-decker mansion on wheels, or so it seemed. It featured a bathroom that made our hunting shack's outhouse look like the Taj Mahal, stairs steep enough to terrify a roofer, and seatbelts only on every other seat. My seat, naturally, had no seatbelts, which seemed fine because the driver was too busy watching Facebook videos to possibly crash the bus. The bus stopped at around 10 towns, picking up and dropping off passengers, reminiscent of the old railroad on the grade that shuttled people between International Falls and Minneapolis. The demographics on the bus were split. Most were Thai residents seeking affordable transportation, while the rest were foreign adventurers like us. Talking to the first couple we met hit me with a culture shock. As a proud American, I've always felt the U.S. was the safest place on earth, and foreign countries were riskier by comparison. But the Australian couple sitting behind us had an opposite view. My go-to icebreaker is mentioning how my hometown gets below negative 40 degrees. They were more curious about us living in America than we were of them living in Australia. Their first comment is that they'd never visit the U.S. because it's too dangerous. Meanwhile, they were riding a bus across of all of Asia with not a care in the world. Their perspective on safety versus mine could not have been more different. About an hour into the ride, Grandpa went to the bathroom and insisted I check it out. It was time to talk to the plumber about some business, so I made my way down the aisle, struggling to keep my balance as I didn't have my sea legs yet, and the bus driver was swerving like he was watching Season 3 of Cops. The stairs leading to the bathroom were hazardously steep and would make a mountain goat reconsider their life decisions. I opened the bathroom door and was immediately hit with a wave of humidity, which was mostly urine. The floor featured a bucket with a ladle taking up half the space, and a toilet with a hole that seemed to lead directly to the road. A separate hole in the floor provided a clear view of the pavement rushing below. The ceiling was a generous 3 feet high. To make matters worse, the driver decided to swerve heavily just as I was trying to aim. My Chris Kyle caliber aim degraded quickly to something more akin to a stormtrooper's. Still, I persevered and managed a respectable 40% accuracy. Driving through the Thai countryside was not what we expected. The roads were surprisingly decent, though Thailand seems to have few traffic regulations. It wasn't uncommon to see 5 or more people crammed into the back of a Toyota Hilux. The tropical savanna climate featured broadleaf trees, rice fields, occasional mountains, large Buddha statues, and an unexpected abundance of cattails. Shops lined the road almost every block, in a pattern of industry and shop that would never pass the International Falls Planning and Zoning Committee, selling everything from fruits and vegetables to clothes, mopeds, and even tractors. It wouldn't be a stretch to say you could drop a kid off anywhere on the 40-mile route and they would have their back-to-school clothes shopping done within an hour.
I think we're going to stop and get more food.
What were your thoughts on the bathroom?
Oh boy, it was a really nice outhouse, and our hunting shack is 10 times nicer than that.
Sitting to our right was a middle-aged Thai man who seemed to be relatively crippled. At first, not being able to speak the language made him feel distant and unfamiliar, but technology changed everything. Using Google Translate, we had a meaningful conversation. He first asked if our house was on fire, and he said he was praying that us Americans are safe. It was clear that the current perception of America is that of chaos. During our chat, he told us how he had been in a workplace accident. He grabbed a live wire and couldn't let go. The voltage caused his muscles to seize so strongly it tore them apart and stopped his heart. Miraculously, he was revived. We talked about our lives, hobbies, and shared food. It struck me how much I take simple conversations for granted back home. Without Translate, I would have missed out on knowing this kind and fascinating individual. Later in the ride, he began walking strangely after a trip to the bathroom. His speech was slurred, and I initially judged him, assuming he was on drugs. He motioned for the translator and muttered one word, "Pho," which translates to father. Hours later, at his stop, he used the translator to talk to us again. He told us, "On the ride here, my father died." Grandpa and I were speechless. After 12 hours of driving, we were more than ready for the journey to end. We tried to sleep, but the bus's AC was cranked so high that it felt like we were napping in the meat section of Super One. Freezing, we endured until we finally reached our destination. Today was a perspective-altering experience. It reminded me that life is vast and full of stories. I've often felt like the hero of my own story, as if the world revolved around me. But this trip made me realize how many equally important lives filled with ambition, fears, grief, and joy are happening all over the world. The biggest takeaway: life is finite, and the stressors of work, possessions, ambitions don't really matter nearly as much as family, friends, and the memories that we create together. Thank you for following our Thailand adventure. If you enjoyed the story, please leave it a like. It really helps.